Hey everybody, Arturo Johnson here, and today we've got a dandy for we got the next Rainmaker and Kaylee Grace Acosta, and we're going to be sharing with you how she was able to go from an average producer to a top producer. Kaylee, is definitely great to have you back on the Rainmaker podcast again. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Always good to be back.
Yeah, for sure. So, you got a unique backstory, and so take me back. Like you got this tenacious grit and resilience about you. Where does that come from?
Um, a tenacious grit, or I guess the resiliency to just fall down and get back up again, started at a very, very young age. I mean, I'm young right now, but I'm talking 14, 13 years old. Just first and foremost, being the oldest of seven brothers and sisters. My mom kind of always in and out health wise. And so I had to step, I guess, just learn to, carry on a deeper role than most 12-year-olds would. And then what really was the pivotal moment for me was that at 15, my mother had passed away suddenly from a heart attack. One minute she was totally healthy, fine, dropping us off at school, and the next we got a phone call that she she had passed away. And so
Mm.
at that point, I guess my whole life completely changed 100%, because that led me to dropping out of high school, getting my GED at 15. My father owns a fire alarm company here in Honolulu, Hawaii. And so I needed to take on the administrative assistant role that my mother took, what used to do, invoicing, QuickBooks, you name it, the receipts, filing, talking to customers, taking phone calls. So at 15 years old, all of that plus raising my youngest brother being 3 years old at the time, cooking, cleaning, feeding, just all that role from not carrying anything to completely just that's all on you. Your back is against the wall, and you have no choice but to just stand up and be resilient in that case. And so from there, it's just been a matter of, if I can overcome that, I believe that I can overcome anything.
Yeah, and so it's very interesting because at such a young age to be thrust into some of those things. There's some adults because I'm 40 that are at my age that still haven't mastered the things that you've had to go through. So it's very interesting that sometimes like the path that you're on prepares you for the road ahead. And so, but there's one thing that I did notice about you from being at those two events with you being in the front row. You have this deep self belief in yourself, and I'm just curious on what's the story behind that.
So you're looking at a girl who did not start with that confidence to begin with. It came so bad to the fact that I remember when my mother had passed away and I got the phone call, instead of crying or being, sad about the situation, I instead went to the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I told myself, like, I hate you, Kaylee. You are a terrible person. And so that all came from a lack of identity. At 15, I found out around the same time my mother passed away that my biological father was not actually my father. So that was an identity crisis that I went through at such an early age. I didn't know who my actual father was, and so it led to that was my fault. My mother passing was my fault, and so I just threw all of this baggage at a girl being a little girl having to carry all of this guilt and shame, and so my confidence in myself was terrible. It came so bad that I did like I dove into alcohol, and it wasn't like an alcohol thing where it was like, hey, I'm 16 and I'm gonna go party with my friends. It was depressing. It was very bad 2 3 years of my life, and so I finally came to the point, and this is the pivotal moment where I looked in the mirror again, and I was like, if you don't like something, you can either change it, accept it, or leave it. I didn't want to, accept me hating myself and just the life that I was living with the drinking and the crying every night and the just depressed and angry and mad at the world and blaming it, asking why me. And then I didn't want to accept it. I couldn't leave it, the situation. I tried. And so I decided to change it. So at that point, at 17, I decided to get a fresh start. I moved away from home, Honolulu, Hawaii, and I decided to just pick some random spot on the map in Dallas, Texas, so happened to be, and just start fresh and just kind of build myself and learn who Kaylee Grace really is and learn to love her and embrace her, all of the trials and the tribulations. So that was, I mean, that was a year ago, and it was about a 2 year journey for me because now I'm 19 of just learning to really love who I am, and that's where the confidence came. And from there, it started flowing financially, professionally. I started attracting all of these relationships and new doors for me, but it had to go from I really hit rock bottom such an early age, and I realized that I did not want that life for myself, and I decided to make that change, and that's where I started to build that confidence within me.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? Because I'm smiling. And it's like you realize those things at maybe like 17, I'm assuming. And it wasn't until maybe 34, 35 that I had the same realization where I was drinking all the time. I was in this vicious cycle, toxic relationships, weird environments that kept me doing the same things over and over again. And it's one of those things that the easiest way to break some habits is to just change your environment, just to completely
Oh
just
yeah,
remove yourself
absolutely.
from the environment that you're in. And again, that's not a simple thing to do. It takes a lot of courage, but it's for somebody that has hit rock bottom that says, I've had it. I don't like the way things are. I'm fed up with it, and I'm actually going to do something about it. So kudos to you. So transitioned from Hawaii to moving to Dallas, right? And in that 2 year journey, man, had things turned around for you. So how did
Yes,
you get introduced to
yes.
the life insurance business?
Okay, so moving to Dallas, not knowing anything, I got myself a vehicle, a car. I started working at Cheesecake Factory as a server part time. I initially went to Dallas to go to the University of Texas at Arlington for school. I truthfully did not know what my path was, but I knew I was going to make it. I had that burning desire to succeed, and it was just a matter of finding the vehicle to start running on, and then from there I would just skyrocket. So I like to say I spoke this opportunity. This, the financial service industry is the number one industry that produces most millionaires. It's awesome, and I'm so blessed that I found it. But I believe words are really powerful, and I would write in my journal every day, like opportunities present itself. I will, I will find doors open for me, and so I ended up going into Dallas, going to school. I saw the way that the college students were, and it just wasn't for me. I didn't want that 9 to 5, be stuck in that rat race. It's just not what I was looking for. So I kind of started outsourcing, and I had initially invested into a program, a high ticket mentor at 18 years old. I think it was like $8,000 at the time. The closer was really good at, this is the change you need. And so it had paved the pathway for me to get into sales. I took that course, remained coachable, was willing to invest into myself because I believed in myself. And then from there, I jumped into the sales, and I kind of got surrounded by just, commission only, working remote, being able to take phone calls and cold call, and all of that had gave me some, thick skin. And then from there, I was approached by the insurance opportunity because I went to one of Cody Askin's event a year ago, actually October 8th, a
Wow.
year in Dallas, Texas. I just got the memory, and I had one of the nominees for the Ultimate Agent went on stage, and then after that, I started I was talked to my mentor Nate Offord and Lori Stye, and they were just breaking down, this industry and what it can do for you. And I was just like, whoa, this is, I loved everybody that spoke on that stage. The way that they talked was just not anything I've ever been surrounded by before. I come from an island where we're really small minded, or a lot of them are. So when I was in that room, I was so full, and it was amazing. And from there, it's just been a year now of being in the industry. And
Yeah.
man, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure. That's absolutely incredible. One of the most amazing things that I'm noticing is that like some amazing things have happened in Dallas, right? So we connected for the first time in Dallas, and then going back to Dallas again for the SWAT and 8%, which was absolutely amazing. So shout out to Cody Askins for putting on some incredible events and connecting you with some awesome people. And Nate Offer, big ups to Nate Offer. And so one of the things that I did hear you say that I think is important is you learned one of the most valuable skills, right? Like you saw a situation, you used your thought process to say, if I go through with this process through this system, the outcome is not something that I'm looking like that looks like something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And you looked over here, it's like, okay, what about this opportunity? Where is the opportunity where there is an unlimited cap on what I can do, the people that I can help, and the money that I can make? And that is getting into sales, right? The commission thing scares people, but at the end of the day, there's a formula to success in sales. Most people just aren't willing to go through that process. But for you, right, going because I remember meeting you and going from someone that was still, shooting high, but not really high until we had a conversation where I'm like, you can do
Yeah.
what your goals that you're trying to do in a month, in a week. And I remember having that conversation, and you told me that was really profound. And lo and behold, 60 days right later, go from 10K a month to 10K a week. And so
Yeah.
my question for you is, where does that drive come from? That determination to get up every single day, right? To be inspired, to be happy, to choose, right? To have a positive perception on life and to help people by giving your time and effort to talk about the opportunity to protect their families with life insurance.
That drive ultimately falls back under. I have some really, really big goals and my vision for my family and for myself. Because I've always been a leader, I want to lead from the front and show my siblings that it is possible. I mean, you're talking about when we say when my mother passed away, it was financially hard. We had to like sell our home, and we lived in an office, and it was a small little office. We slept on cots and yoga mats, and we'd work in the office, and we'd shower by the sink, or we'd go to the beach and shower. And so, not having anything or electricity, just those kind of stuff at a very young age, and then being able to see, you know, you have Arturo has this, or my Nate has this, or it's possible to achieve this with this platform. You just have to work your butt off, like there's no tomorrow. But it's there, it's so close, and I'm willing to run for it. I'm not afraid of the work. So the drive comes from not having anything, and I want to give my brother when he's 18 the life he deserves and show him that it's possible as well. That's where it wakes me up every morning, for myself as well, my future family. I mean, just to have control over my time, my money. That's all things that drive me. But really, coming from nothing, you want if it's right there and you just need to work for it, like you're gonna you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Um,
for
and
sure.
so that drive, yeah, that's
Yeah, well,
my
that's
drive.
100%. That makes sense because, like, our stories are in parallel. They're not exactly similar, but they're in parallel with coming from, some hard circumstances and some tough beginnings and running into some obstacles personally, and then looking in the mirror and not liking what you see and having that defining moment where you can either continue to spiral downward and hit rock bottom and continue to go underneath that, or right, you can decide that you want to make a change, and that's the word decide means to cut off, and you can cut off yourself from being in that situation and move on, changing your environment. I did the same thing leaving Chicago and coming to Nashville. One of the best decisions that I did, starting fresh, figuring out who I was, but more importantly, recreating the narrative and the future for my life from the ground up without any other expectations but the ones that I give people, which is pretty freaking phenomenal. And then investing in yourself, developing
Yes,
a high income skill, getting around the right people, right? Being coachable, staying motivated, being hardworking and putting in the work and expecting nothing less from yourself. And again, folks, that's a recipe for success right there. So, Kaylee, if there's someone out here watching this video that's like, man, I want to learn more about what it is that you're doing, how you're helping people, or they're hearing your story and they say, man, you know what? I just want to get connected with you. I want to be a part of what you're doing, or I just want to hear a little bit more about the path and the journey that you're on. Where can people connect with you and find you?
Instagram, social media. growing there, trying, attempting, working towards it. That's another, brand building. But my Instagram is Miss Kaylee Grace. I did want to touch one thing that you did say with the positivity and the attitude. I mean, life is hard, but the one thing you can control in this really really crazy and traumatic and roller coaster of a life is the attitude that you have towards anything. So I believe that's so important, where you get to decide every day what how you want to react to a situation. That's your decision. And I just decide, to wake up, work out, and be positive. Things might be hard and it's difficult at times, and it's not, you don't always get your way. That's just life. But you have the decision to remain positive and happy towards it all. And then I believe the rest of it kind of just follows, and you'll start to attract relationships like with you, Arturo, and you'll open doors because your attitude is just, people want to be around you, people want to enjoy your company. So I think I just wanted to touch on that you have the decision to stay positive towards it.
Yes,
But
for
Miss Kayla
sure.
Grace is my Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. Miss Kaylee Grace. So go ahead, follow her, DM her, hit her up right now. She's a rising star. Gonna build a successful agency. And so if you're out there and you're working a 9 to 5, or you're more importantly in an opportunity, people, there's only a little over 70 days left in this year. And if you're stuck, this is the time to make a change. Don't wait till December 31st to decide to make a change. The time to make a change is now, right? To change your environment, to change your location, to change your mindset, to change your future. So if you're looking to do that, right, partner up with the right people, get in the room, right? Get around people with the right mindset, the right skill set, and the right tool set. Follow Miss Kaylee Grace. Again, Kaylee, thank you so much for hopping on the Rainmaker podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for having me.